All right, I was talking with the reader Tony over on smartphonematters.com. Tony wanted to know about using the iPhone with Tracfone. He had a lot of questions about this. The first thing he wanted to know is, do the latest model iPhones work with Tracfone? And yes, Tony, they do. They'll work fine with Tracfone. It turns out he was reading an older reader response on Smartphone Matters, and I had said the iPhone 6 and earlier models work with Tracfone, so he wanted to know why the later models don't work. Well, they do. That was just an older article. Now, it turns out that Tony is already a Tracfone customer. He has thousands of minutes that he's been carrying over. He wants to know whether or not those will work with the iPhone. And if you want to sign up or if you want to get an iPhone, you can definitely transfer your number and your service balance from your basic phone over to the iPhone. Those minutes will carry over, but I'm not sure whether or not you'll be able to use them for data. Let me see if I can explain this here. So it turns out that if you're using Tracfone service and you look at the plans, they have plans for basic phones and smartphones. When you have a basic phone, you just buy a plan and it has minutes. And then it says the minutes are for talk, text, and web. So a minute of talk counts as a minute out of these plans. But then for text and web, each text message or megabyte of data is either going to count as a minute or some fractional part of a minute. It might be like half a minute or 2/3 of a minute, but they use minutes for talk, text, and web. If you have a smartphone, they don't do it that way anymore. For the smartphones, when you buy a plan, they give you 3 different buckets. They give you minutes, text, and megabytes of data. So I think if you convert your service over, those minutes are going to convert over just as talk minutes, not as text or megabytes of data, but I'm not sure. I suppose you could ask Tracfone support. You might be able to get an answer out of them as to what will happen. But Tony, I don't think it's that big of a deal because you can add data to your account and you can buy a gigabyte of data for $10. That will stay on your account as long as it's active. So if you don't use it, you'll continue to carry it over. And you can also buy 1,000 text messages for $5. And again, those will stay active on your account until you use them up. So that's relatively inexpensive. You said that you primarily use Wi-Fi, so you won't need that much cell data. So adding $10 of data, that data could last you for a pretty long time. Don't know how many text messages you use, but 1,000 text messages for $5. If you don't use a lot of text messages, those should last a long time too. All right, now let's take a look at the iPhone. All right, now you're talking about, do the latest iPhones work? The latest iPhones are the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. These will work with Tracfone. Now, if you look to buy the iPhone, I recommend just getting it from Apple if you want to buy new. I think that's the best place to buy the phone from. What you want to choose is the SIM-free model. This phone is compatible with all 4 major networks in the US, and it's going to work with Tracfone. You'll be able to use this with Tracfone's AT&T network. Tracfone calls that GSM. Tracfone also offers service on the T-Mobile network. That's also GSM. And they offer service on the Verizon network, which they call CDMA. And this phone will work with all 3 of those networks. Now, if you do get this phone, the next thing you're going to need is a SIM kit, and that looks like this. You can find these in Best Buy or Target for $1. Out in your area, Tony lives in California, you may be able to find these on the shelf in Fry's. Fry's is a really kind of cool electronics store out on the West Coast. But I've seen these kits in even Kmart. They're only $1. This has SIM cards for the Tracfone AT&T and Verizon networks. The nano SIM will fit in your iPhone. Now, if you see a SIM kit for sale and it's more than $1, it's probably going to be including a service plan. You probably don't want to buy that. Look for this kit. If you can't find one, you can order the SIM online for $1. All right, now once you've bought that SIM, what you would need to do is activate the phone. So you'd go through this step here. I'm bringing my own smartphone, and then you have 2 choices. If you have the SIM card and you want to activate it, you would just enter in the SIM card number here. If you're going to use this Tracfone AT&T network and you have the SIM, I would just enter the SIM card number in here and then go through the process of activating it. If you want to use their CDMA or Verizon network, I would come over here and first check that the phone is eligible. You'll need to follow these instructions here and enter the phone's serial number, and then it'll tell you whether or not the phone is eligible to be activated on Tracfone's Verizon network. The Verizon network just works differently. You need to make sure that the serial number of the phone can be registered on the network. Now, with SIM-free iPhone from Apple, it should be eligible. On the rare occasion that it's not, or the site says that it's not, you can contact Tracfone support and double check. If for some reason you really can't activate it, you can return the phone to the Apple store for your money back. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Occasionally somebody tells me they have a problem with it, but in all the cases that I've tried it, and for the vast majority of people I talk to, there's no problem. Now, once you go through all that, when you go to sign up, it's going to ask you if you want to move your phone number to Tracfone. And when you type in your Tracfone phone number, they're going to recognize that it's Tracfone phone number and let you transfer your service. Now, one thing you might want to do, Tony, is if you don't already have an account on Tracfone.com, you might want to go ahead and just set that up beforehand. I think it makes it easier to go through the process when you want to transfer your phone number to have already created your online account. And that way, during the transfer process, you'll just be able to log into your account and move your service over. All right, now which network should you choose? I don't know which Tracfone network you're already using. I like the AT&T network better. It works better in my area, and the data on the AT&T network will be faster than it will be on the Verizon network, at least in my area. And that's because the Verizon network on Tracfone, there's a maximum data download speed of 5 megabits per second. That's just the way the business arrangement that Tracfone and Verizon have. All right, now what else can I tell you? Oh, now you had been asking about the latest iPhone. You're going to need to decide whether or not you want to buy the iPhone 7 or 7 Plus, or whether you want to wait till September and see what the phones look like then. Now, usually what happens is that Apple comes out with a model phone, and then the next year they come out with the S model phone. So last September was the iPhone 7, then this September would be the iPhone 7S. But there's a lot of rumors that Apple is going to change that this year, that they might come out with an iPhone 7S and a 7S Plus, but also a new iPhone 8 that's a radically different phone. So these phones are expensive, and if we look at the SIM-free iPhone 7 Plus, all right, so they start at $769 and go up to $969. Now, given that it's June, I would probably wait to September and see what the latest phones look like. If they do an iPhone 7S, you'll be getting an updated phone with better features for that price. They might do an iPhone 8 with a completely new design, and there's been a lot of rumors about what that might be. So I think I would personally wait and see what was coming out. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that although the new iPhones usually come in September, you have to wait usually to get the SIM-free model. So if I go back and I look on smartphonematters.com, it looks like last year the SIM-free models were available mid-October. So that's not too bad. It was maybe about a month after the phone was announced and started shipping. For whatever reason, Apple holds back the SIM-free models, probably to satisfy their carrier partners that there's enough phones available. All right, now, Tony, I probably didn't go into all the details here, but I have like over 30 videos on Tracfone on my YouTube channel and plenty of articles on smartphonematters.com too. So I would encourage you to check those out. And if you have any other questions, just leave a reply on smartphonematters.com and I'll get back to you.